Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're gearing up for a big executive board meeting, or honestly just trying to survive the sheer pace of innovation today, you probably know two things for sure. First, AI is literally everywhere. I mean, my toothbrush just got an AI update this week, seriously. And second, things are moving so incredibly fast, it's kind of impossible to keep up. But look, getting past the hype, that takes way more than just memorizing buzzwords. It's about figuring out the actual strategic business impacts. So today's goal is to demystify 7 absolutely critical AI terms by building them into what we're going to call an AI capability stack. It's basically a framework to help you evaluate all this tech and, more importantly, prioritize your investments to get a real long-term competitive advantage.
So here's our roadmap for building this stack. We'll kick things off with agents and reasoning models, then move into vector databases and RAG. After that, we'll look at connecting and scaling AI, and finally, we'll look at the ultimate horizon, ASI. It's a solid framework for prioritizing those strategic investments, for today, tomorrow, and well into the future. All right, let's jump in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Agents and Reasoning Models. This is all about how modern AI actually thinks.
So number 1 on our list is Agentic AI. Now, it feels like everybody and their grandmother's building an AI agent right now, right? But strategically speaking, what actually are they? Well, Agentic AI refers to systems that can reason and act completely autonomously to hit specific goals. Think about your standard AI for a second. It's basically just a chatbot. It sits there, it waits, and it only responds to one prompt at a time. An AI agent is a totally different beast. It goes way beyond that. It's fundamentally built to run on its own, without you constantly holding its hand. For business, this is huge. It's the critical shift from an AI that just, answers questions, to an AI that literally executes your operational workflows.
To really grasp why this is such a massive competitive advantage, we need to look at the continuous, autonomous loop these agents run. It's a 4-step cycle. First, they perceive their environment. Next, they move into the reason stage, figuring out the absolute best path forward to achieve their goal. Third, they act on that plan. And fourth, they observe the results of whatever they just did. And then, they just keep going, around and around, until the job is totally finished. In the real world, this could be, say, an autonomous travel agent booking a crazy complex itinerary for you. Or maybe it's a virtual data analyst digging through your quarterly reports and spotting vital trends. Or think about a DevOps engineer detecting a weird anomaly in your server logs, spinning up a container to test a fix, and rolling back a bad deployment, entirely on its own.
Now, those autonomous agents don't just spring out of nowhere. They're typically built on top of our second term, large reasoning models. These are highly specialized large language models, or LLMs, that have gone through some intense reasoning-focused fine-tuning. The way it works is they are trained using reinforcement learning on really tough problems that actually have verifiably correct answers. Think high-level math or writing code that a compiler can explicitly test. Through all this rigorous training, the model actually learns how to piece together proper reasoning sequences that get to the right final answer. And honestly, that is exactly the skill set an agent needs when it's trying to plan out really complex multi-step business tasks.
And this brilliantly illustrates the strategic difference between the two. While regular LLMs are basically built to just spit out a response immediately, large reasoning models are trained to actually sit down and work through problems step by step. So the next time you're using a modern chatbot and it pauses for a second and it says thinking, you're literally watching this reasoning model at work. It's generating this whole internal chain of thought, breaking down your incredibly complex problem before it finally gives you an answer. For an executive, the trade-off here is a no-brainer. You're trading just a tiny bit of speed for a massive, and I mean massive, increase in accuracy and reliability for your business-critical operations.
Moving right along to the second level of our stack, Section 2, Vector Databases and RAG. This is where we shift from how AI thinks to how it remembers.
Okay, term number 3 is the vector database. Look, if you want to really leverage your corporate data, you can't just dump raw files like giant text documents or images into a standard storage blob and expect the AI to understand it. It doesn't work that way. Instead, we use something called an embedding model. This takes your raw data and converts it into what we call vector embeddings. Why do this? Because it allows the entire system to perform searches as super fast, highly efficient mathematical operations.
But, okay, what actually is a vector? When you get right down to it, it's essentially just a really long list of numbers. But, and this is the cool part, that list of numbers captures the deep semantic meaning of the content. Let's imagine a picture of a beautiful mountain vista. The embedding model looks at that and breaks the picture down into this crazy multi-dimensional numeric vector. Because it's all mapped out mathematically, we can do a similarity search to find other items that are physically close to that mountain picture in the embedding space. Basically, proximity equals semantic similarity. And you can apply this to anything: images, music, or probably most importantly for a business, thousands of incredibly complex text articles and market reports.
And those vector databases, they are the absolute backbone for our fourth term, RAG, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation. RAG is essentially an architecture that uses those vector databases we just talked about to dynamically enrich the prompts you're sending to your large language model. I really want to emphasize this point. You literally cannot build a highly effective RAG system without a vector database. It's just not going to happen. RAG is how you ground an AI in your actual specific corporate reality. It takes it from being just a generic know-it-all text generator and turns it into a legitimately powerful business tool.
Let's just quickly walk through the mechanics of how this works. Step 1. A user types in a prompt. The RAG retriever immediately grabs that prompt and turns it into a vector using the embedding model. Step 2. It jumps into your vector database and runs a similarity search. Step 3. The database fires back the absolute most semantically relevant context it can find. And finally, Step 4. It takes all that retrieved context, embeds it right into the user's original prompt, and then sends the whole package over to the LLM. So practically speaking, if an employee asks the AI a complicated question about company policy, this RAG system instantly pulls the exact relevant section from your proprietary employee handbook to inform the AI's answer. From an investment perspective, RAG should be a massive priority. It's the key that unlocks the true strategic value of your private data, and it does it safely and accurately.
All right, let's shift gears to the third capability level. Section 3, Connecting and Scaling AI. How do we take these smart, memory-enabled systems and plug them into the real world at a massive scale?
Well, that brings us to term number 5, Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short. Honestly, this one is incredibly exciting for enterprise architecture. Here's the deal. For large language models to actually be useful to your business operations, they have to be able to talk to your external tools. We're talking your live databases, your secure code repositories, your internal email servers, the whole shebang. MCP is basically the brand new universal standard for exactly how applications provide that live context to the LLMs. To really appreciate the efficiency gain here, you kind of have to look at the old way of doing things. Before MCP, developers were stuck building these one-off, completely custom connections for absolutely every single new tool they wanted the AI to touch. It was an endless, wildly expensive bottleneck. But with MCP, you just get a standardized connection running through an MCP server. Boom, done. The AI instantly knows exactly how to interact with your external systems, and nobody has to write mountains of custom code. It drastically cuts down implementation time, slashes IT overhead, and means your business can deploy some seriously capable AI way faster.
Okay, term number 6 is Mixture of Experts, or MO. Now, fun fact, the core concept of MO actually dates all the way back to a scientific paper from 1991. Wild, right? But today it is absolutely vital for scaling up the size of these models. What MO does is it takes a massive large language model and divides it up into these highly specialized neural subnetworks, which naturally we call the experts. Then it smartly routes tasks only to the specific experts that are actually needed for that precise moment.
Under the hood, this whole routing and merging process is just incredibly elegant and efficient. First, the model receives a token, which is just a tiny piece of data. Second, a routing mechanism kicks in and dynamically activates only the specialized experts it needs. So instead of lighting up the whole brain, it might just use, say, 2 out of 100 experts for that specific task. Finally, it takes the outputs from those activated experts and merges them mathematically into a single representation that just keeps flowing right through the model.
So the crucial point here, the real so what for an executive, is this. MoA allows you to massively scale up the intelligence of a model without completely blowing up your compute costs in the process. Look at models like IBM Granite's 4.0 series. The entire model might technically have billions and billions of total parameters, but thanks to MoA, it only uses a tiny fraction of those parameters, the active ones, at inference time. For a board of directors trying to manage a budget, this is basically the magic bullet for scaling AI. It means you are getting the top-tier performance of a massive, world-class model, but at a compute cost that is actually sustainable for your day-to-day business operations.
And finally, Section 4, the Ultimate Horizon, ASI. This is the purely theoretical stage of our stack, but it's where all the frontier labs are heading.
Just to set the stage here, we really need to differentiate between 2 major acronyms you hear thrown around. First, there's AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. That refers to systems that can handle pretty much all cognitive tasks as well as any human expert could. And honestly, today's best models are slowly but surely creeping up on that AGI standard. But then there's ASI, artificial superintelligence. This is an entirely different echelon. We are talking about an intellectual scope that goes far, far beyond human-level intelligence.
Which perfectly leads us to our seventh and final term, artificial superintelligence. The defining characteristic of ASI is its capability for recursive self-improvement. Just imagine an endless loop where an AI system is constantly redesigning, rewriting, and upgrading its own code, becoming exponentially smarter with every passing second. It's a concept that holds the extreme potential to either solve humanity's absolute biggest, most intractable problems, or, create completely unimaginable new ones. Now, to be clear, ASI absolutely does not exist yet, but keeping it on your strategic radar is essential if you're building out a long-term corporate vision.
And there you have it, the whole shebang, our fully interconnected AI capability stack. We started with autonomous agents and reasoning models, grounded them with vector databases and RAG, seamlessly connected everything via MCP, scaled it affordably through MOE, and looked all the way out to the ultimate horizon of ASI. Understanding exactly how all these layers stack together, that's the framework you need to prioritize those strategic investments and actually build a true long-term competitive advantage. But listen, this technology literally never stops evolving. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. As you look at your own business strategy and where the market is heading, what AI term do you think should be next on this list? Think about it. Keep learning, and I will see you in the next explainer.